I told a lie. There are a couple of steps I forgot. Oh dear. So what I want to do also is just darken up the edges and make it a little bit, I don't know, what's the word? Frothy along the bottom. So what I tend to do is I just bring it out a fair bit, and then I'm going to put a layer, probably drag that up to the top. Whoops, not going to go up to the top. In between the typography and the model layer, down here, I'm going to click on this little plus sign and add a new layer. Then I'm going to hit B on my keyboard for brush. Oh, my circles come back. Yay! That's nice and big, actually. It's a really good size, because what I'm going to do is softly brush along the sides. Now, up the top here, we can see we've got the opacity. Now, ordinarily, if this is the first time you've used the brush tool, it's probably set to 100. I'm just going to pull it to around 50. And then down here, I'm going to click on this square and I'm going to choose a color. And I just want probably just that blue, a bluish color. And I start over on this side of my screen in case I mess it up, and I can just get it exactly how I want it. I'm just going to pull it a little bit and see how that's feathering in just nicely. But it's gotten on her hair. So, and if you wanted to, you could also do it all the way around the edges. This is a good way to fix things that have gone wrong on your back cover and stuff like that. So I might even do that a little darker. So if you wanted to make it darker, just Control J and see how that makes everything darker. I'm just going to undo that because I don't like what I just did on the edges. So that's not too bad. I'm just going to bring it below the model. And that's, see how her hair popped in color when I moved that? And that just basically darkens up the sky a little bit. Just do it again. That might be a bit too much, because see how it's got two copies now, but what you can do is that top copy, bring it down in opacity. Yep, quite happy with that. And I'm going to do the same with the bottom and just sort of brush over her legs a little bit, like, and just fade her away a little bit, rather than using that rather than using a tool to make her disappear. I'm just going to cheat and do that. So I need it to be on top of the model layer, not below, like behind her, in which case I'm just going to pop it here. So let me just, hang on, go back. Call this sky. Whoops. And I'm just going to group those together. Command G, sky, just so that we can identify them. And then this will be very imaginatively called bottom. Now the bottom is probably just, I might just make it this sandy color. Click on B for brush again if you accidentally took it off of brush. Click on here. So I might make it this rock color because we're having it at 50% opacity. So I'm just going to play with it over here. And just over her a little bit. Not sure if I like that. Turn that one off. I'm going to do another layer. Oops. Hang on. Just move that back out the way. It's a joy of having two screens. Because I don't want to lose the sand effect, but I just want to fade her out a little bit. There we go, that's better. I like that. And if this was like a paranormal, or you wanted to add a little bit of magic, there are lots of things that you can do for that. This one doesn't really need it. So I am going to do another video just showing you how to make a paranormal cover and to add those in. But now looking at this, I think I might make my model bigger. So because we've got multiple layers under here of the model, so if you end up with multiple copies, just sit on this top folder and do Control T or Command T. It'll select them all. And I'm actually going to make her a bit bigger. There we go. I kind of like that. It's just about using your judgment, just playing and tweaking, and you could be here all day doing it. So I'm quite happy with that, but I'm also thinking that my drop shadow on the typography is a little bit too dark. So especially on the holidays one. So I'm just going to go into that. I'm just going to right click and go blending options. And I'm going to go to drop shadow, and I'm going to take down the spread, I think is the problem. There, I like that. That's better. Just probably because that font was smaller, so it should have had a different setting to that one. All right, now I'm quite happy with that. I think that looks quite good. So that's good to go. So step 1, save your file. Just save it. Then what we're going to do is save the entire thing as a JPEG. Oh, just quickly before we do that, double check that your typography is centered. I've already shown you this once, but we'll quickly go through it again. We'll start with the author name. So sit on this layer, hold down Control or Command, and click on the Y area of your front mask so that you got the marching ants. Then up here, click on center. And it shouldn't move because I've already done this once, but just in case you've accidentally moved something. If you can't see this, hit just V for Victor on your keyboard. So we're going to holidays and, now I don't want to center this because it's deliberately off-centered. Okay, so if I center this, I'm going to move it and I've got to actually right aligned with that word. So that's intentional. So I'm going to go straight on down to homicide and just double check that that's centered, and that moved a little bit. So goes to show, I'm just going to do Command D to take the marching ants off. And now my holidays and homicide probably needs a little adjusting. So I'm just going to see the pink lines. Might be a little bit difficult to see. Line it up perfectly. Now I'm happy. I'm going to stop playing. So file and save. That's just our working file. Now we're going to save it as a JPEG. So save as. Let me drag it in. And instead of format Photoshop, it's going to be JPEG. And I keep the file name the same at this point. And it's all going to the same place. So we're just going to click on save. And it's going to come up and ask you basically a quality issue, like size issue. At this point, I save it at the maximum and it makes for a big file, but that's fine because I'm going to resave it in a minute. So I'm just going to go, okay. And you can see down the bottom it was saving and now it's gone away. So you think, now what? You need to open it. So we're going to go File, Open. Let's drag this in. And that was the name. I've called it tutorial. And just open it. So everything looks exactly the same, but you'll notice that there's no layers because basically this is just an image. But we've still got our guides in place because that's going to come in handy like right now. So what I do at this point, because we're only making an ebook cover at this stage, is I use the crop tool. So make sure you scroll out enough that you can see all the way around the edges of your image, of your canvas. Hit crop. And then we're just going to drag over and it will snap to your guides. So we want it 6 by 11. So drag over and just hit enter. And just click back up here so you don't accidentally crop anything else. I probably actually want to fix how far out these leaves are now that I've done that, because you can just see how hard it is judging with your eyeball and just the guide. So that's easy fixed. So I'm going to come back to this one. And where are we? Let's hide all this typography so that we can see what we're doing, because we've got 2 layers on the background. So I'm just going to highlight this, Command T or Control T. Now I might pull this all the way over. No, it's too much on one side, so I'm going to go the other way. There we go. That might look better. And hit enter. So now we can try that again. So what I do is go back to this one and just close it. And I'm not going to save it because I'm going to go through that process one more time. So before I do that, I just do go back and delete that one I've already saved. Only because this is a Mac and it doesn't allow you to, it won't oversave. It saves it as another copy and that just gets really irritating for me. So just this tutorial JPEG one, I'm actually going to delete that. Never delete your Photoshop file. Okay, so file and save to save those changes. Then save as. And then we're going to change it to JPEG. Save. We're keeping it at maximum. And then we're going to go file and open. And here it is, and open. And we know that it's that picture because there's no layers, it's just one layer. Scrolling out a little bit so we can see the edges, hit the crop tool, click and drag to the second line, click and drag to the first line, and hit enter. Yeah, I like that better. I could continue to tweak and maybe get in the trunk of the tree, but we're not going to do that for now because I know this will get boring for you. And I might even erase some of the blue off of that leaf. So now what we do is save this. So this is a high resolution file of that cover because that's your cover. But what I like to do is you don't need a high resolution file for stuff on the internet. So I make another version called low res. So the dimensions are the same, but the file size is smaller because you don't need print quality for the internet. So all you do for that is file, save as, and you want to change the file name, otherwise it's going to save over your good copy. And I type in low res, and that's for low resolution. You click on save and it gives you these image options again, and I tend to just hit about 8. So it's still high, but notice the file size has gone right down, and just click OK. And that's what I use to upload everywhere. I think I still need to tweak that a little bit, but yeah, I won't bore you with all of the tweaking that goes on. But that's a cozy cover, just an illustration style, no drawing, couple of effects, but nice and easy, and should get you going. Yell out if you have any questions, and I am going to do another version, just doing a paranormal one where we'll add some magic and a bit of mist and stuff along the bottom to show you how to do that. Okay guys, thanks for watching.